bei der PDC. Herzlich willkommen, Martin Atkins, the Assassin. Es ist das Duell England gegen Irland. Er kommt aus Limerick. Er war beim World Cup of Darts in diesem Jahr in Frankfurt für Irland mit dabei. Ein WM-Teilnehmer aus 2018, die aktuelle Nummer 58 der Welt. Herzlich willkommen dem Magpie Willie O'Connor.
Well, 3 games into the European Darts match play and 3 first-time winners on the European Tour, and that run could continue if Martin Atkins were to see off the Magpie Willie O'Connor here. Atkins has not only won a match on the European Tour, he's not won a leg, because the only other time he's played on it, he was beaten 6-0 by Richard North. However, he got his revenge by beating North to book his place here in Hamburg. It's a Magpie Willie O'Connor, but it's not the assassin Martin Atkins. It's t'other Martin Atkins, isn't it, Dan Dawson?
It is. There are 2 Martin Atkins. Only 2 Martin Atkins. Well, there are probably more. But in darts there are 2. This one is t'otherin, not Martin the Assassin Atkins. This one has played BDO for a long while, like the other one, but he made the switch over at the start of this year. Martin Atkins Brackets, as he's known by some of the players, because it's Brackets Wigan to differentiate them, and making his Euro Tour debut. But Willie O'Connor will be quite glad that Martin Atkins is 43 years old, because so far this year on the Euro Tour, Willie O'Connor is qualified for a few of them. He turns up, plays first round and gets beaten by a child. That's basically how it goes. He's lost to Rusty Jake Rodriguez. Yeah, Rusty Jake Rodriguez, Dimitri Vandenberg, Luke Humphreys have all beaten Willie O'Connor, so he'll be refreshed, I would imagine, to be taking on a guy in his 40s rather than somebody in his teens or 20s.
Well, Atkins will be hoping to take some comfort out of the fact that we've seen first-time winners. Colt Southern low on their European Tour debuts. Rowley, after 5 failed attempts to win a match, has finally won one on the Euro Tour stage. As I mentioned, Atkins was beaten 6-0 earlier this year by Richard North, but in knocking him out in qualifying, that has left his World Match Play chances hanging in the balance. Right now, Richard North is not going to be there, but that could all change this weekend. We'll go further into that tomorrow, as Atkins goes further into this leg very, very quickly.
Yeah, ironically, Richard North winning that game against Martin Atkins 6-0. Yes, all right, got him some ranking money, but it might be better to lose that one and qualify for this.
83.
Atkins also saw off Alan Tabban and Dawson Mershell in qualifying for this one. Well, Willie O'Connor defeated Mickey Mansell, a winner on the Pro Tour this year.
140.
15 different winners on the PDC circuit in 2018. And then Nathan Aspinall. Atkins looks at the ball.
98.
Move the ring.
67.
Double 8. Yeah, it's in, Willie. What's the debate?
In shot of the first leg.
Whatever the debate was, he won it.
He won.
And with it, the first leg on throw, having survived a missed dart by Martin at the bullseye.
Winning averages all in the 90s so far. It's been a good standard to start the European darts match play. A losing average of 100 from Keegan Brown.
Yeah, could well end up being the highest average of the session, and not a winning one. It just goes to show, doesn't it, that perhaps when you looked at the page today compared to some first days, might not be the strongest field in terms of how well known the names are. We've seen a few debutants, a few people who haven't been on the European Tour very much, but the standard has been decent so far.
Not getting any worse either, is it?
Martin Atkins has tasted victory on the Challenge Tour in January this year.
43.
And he beat some names, some well-known names, on the way to that victory. In the last 16, he saw off Ricky Williams, who we've seen on the European Tour before, had a tour card for the last couple of years. As William tried to find another maximum, couldn't quite manage it, but leaves himself handily placed. In the quarter-finals, it was Colin Osborne, and the semi-finals, Tony O'Shea, before beating in the finals Michael Barnard, who we'll see in our next match.
We will. Great dart. But cannot find the double 14, Willie O'Connor. This would only be a holder throw. Could stay there. But move to the 18s, and maybe staying there would have been the wiser decision.
I spoke about this with Paul in the previous match. These little decisions are more often proving to be very, very pivotal in the outcome of these matches. O'Connor breaks. There are a couple of choices there. Well, there was loads of choices there. But the three that sprung to mind was the one that he opted for, which was going for the treble 18 to leave himself double 12. Staying on the treble 20 because of the good guide, or there's also the double-double option of 19s and tops
85
with two bigger targets to aim for, and it's that closely matched these days, the players, that those decisions can make as much of a difference as where the darts are thrown.
Well, it can be the difference between getting a dart for a leg and not. That can be the difference between winning a leg and not, and that can be the difference between winning a match or not. And as we've already seen this year already, I'm not suggesting that one decision has just denied Martin Atkins going on and claiming a European Tour title, but we've seen players survive match darts and then go on big runs and sometimes win titles. I mean, Mensur Suljovic survived a match dart in his semi-final before winning last time out in Denmark. Paul Nicholson found himself in the semi-finals having survived match darts in a couple of games. That was in Gibraltar.
Rob Cross, of course, in winning the World Championship, surviving match darts in a couple of matches himself.
Yeah, the first man to win a World Championship surviving match darts in 2 separate games.
Speaking of Rob, he will take on the winner of this match, the number 3 seed here this weekend in Hamburg. Still waiting to win his first European Tour title. And O'Connor is staking his claim to be his opponent for the second match.
And he is playing fantastically at the minute, Willie O'Connor, and this is the sort of stuff he was playing last year, round about the time of the Grand Prix, when he won the Tom Kirby for the first time and got his place at the World Championship for the first time in his career. Had a change of throwing action, Willie O'Connor, and it's led to him scoring more heavily and hitting more 180s. But it's the finishing that has been backing it up so far in this match. 2 14 darters and a 15 darter. 50% on the doubles.
16.
This is really, really good.
And Willie O'Connor's another one of those players, if you speak to any darts player on the circuit and you mention his name, they'll say, what a player, fantastic player he is. But then you look at his results over the year, he's not really lived up to the praise that they give him.
Yeah, the number of players, when they
83.
were hearing us talk about Willie O'Connor, either at the Worlds or around the Tom Kirby, they couldn't believe he hadn't made the World Championship before. They just didn't know how. He's been around for ages and he's been winning games and beating big name players and playing some really good stuff. But it's the consistency that's been lacking, because he'd win a couple of rounds and then he'd go out. And unfortunately, you need those big runs every now and again to get you into the big tournaments and get you up the rankings on the 2-year system and the 1-year system on the Pro Tour Order of Merit, which of course are the 2 criteria that decide who goes to the match play.
140.
The World Match Play Association should differentiate between that match play and this, the European Darts match play.
Martin Atkins could be forgiven for thinking an expression that Kevin Painter made famous, couldn't he? Because he's never won a leg on the European Tour stage before, and he's running to the Magpie absolutely flying.
Yeah, I mean, he's had 1 dart at double, Martin Atkins. I know that keeps your average artificially high, but he's still averaging well into the 90s, close to the 100.
And I'm glad that we pointed out the reason for the nickname on the back of his shirt, because people might start to joke on the Euro Tour at least that it's not him that wins, it's t'other player. O'Connor's got all the time in the world here, and he finishes it off for 4-0.
Every single leg in 14 or 15 darts. And you can see he has 1 loose one and he's furious with himself, because he knows he's playing well and he wants to see this out. Willie O'Connor this year, you know, the players he's been losing to are fabulously talented ones, and I'm a huge fan of Luke Humphries, Dimitri Vandenberg and Rusty Jake Rodriguez. But Willie will be frustrated that he has the edge in experience over all 3 of those guys, and he's come out on the wrong end of those matches. It's hard enough to qualify for these, but when you're repeatedly going out first round, as he did at the German Darts Grand Prix, the German Open, as he did in Denmark last time out, just wants to have a crack at the seeded play. It would be Rob Cross in this instance, and he knows he's got the game to worry him. This game would worry anybody. The one that he's throwing right now. Well, not right this second. There we go. This game, right now. Right now, Willie.
Yeah, just 1 run to the quarterfinals in the Pro Tour this year for William O'Connor. But Willie had his first semi, didn't he, last year?
He did, after many years of trying.
I think at the time he was the highest ranked player to have never made a semi.
99.
I think the most quarterfinals without making one, but that was brought to an end at the back end of last year.
55.
It was the penultimate Players' Championship event of the year, when he was only beaten by Rob Cross, curiously enough.
We look back over what has been a bumper week of darts. A couple of huge semis for Steve Beaton too, titles for Mervyn King and Ian White and Mensah Suljovic. You mentioned the World Match Play, it is hotting up ahead of that tournament. Plenty of players going to be in the running, but Martin Atkins is running out of time here. Is he given a helping hand? No, he's not. 5-0 and 11 consecutive legs lost on the European Tour for Atkins. Surely all he's thinking now is just let me win a leg.
140.
Either that, or thank heavens that Elmore introduced me as Martin the Assassin Atkins. Maybe people will think it's him that's got this record.
140.
Listen, there would have been dart players with more prestige than Martin Atkins, open brackets, Wigan close brackets, who have blamed that for this defeat.
Certainly. There's 501 excuses for losing the darts game, but one right now, and a very valid one, is that Willie O'Connor is playing fantastically. A third 180 for the Magpie, an average of 100. He would have worried Rob Cross if he was playing him right now.
Well, it might start to worry him if Rob's watching, because Willie O'Connor is playing like a world champion and racing through this contest. That might not be the case in the next couple when Michael Barnard takes on Mike Langendorf before Justin Pipe faces Vincent van der Voort. Go and make yourself a large pot of tea for watching those. But here, Willie O'Connor was about to say has produced the cream performance of the afternoon. He probably still will, but Atkins has a chance for a leg.
Now then, to end the drought. It has ended. Martin Atkins wins a leg on the European Tour for the first time in his career. Played 12, won 1, lost 11. And there's a smile on his face. That's good to see from Southern Martin Atkins.
Well, the 1,000-mile journey begins.
98.
Willie O'Connor's still averaging 102 though. I mean, this is, and you don't see his level dropping that drastically. I mean, it could.
Well, several factors that can affect performance. It is very hot in here, as I'm sure it is everywhere at the moment, but it will be a frustration for Willie O'Connor to not be heading off stage to cool down already.
140.
And Atkins trying to turn up the heat even more, but it's a tough ask.
Well, if you're only allowing a guy averaging in the 90s 2 darts at double 6 legs into the game, you're doing something right.
And one of those was at the bullseye for a 1-2-3 checkout.
100.
Yeah, very, very impressive from Willie O'Connor. And having lost in the first round the last 3 times on the Euro Tour, in fact his first 3 attempts at the Euro Tour this year, he'd have been delighted to be put himself in a position where he's not getting nervy as you get into the final. He should have plenty of opportunities to close this out. This is one of them. And close it out he does with a 15-darter, a magnificent display. The man from Ireland, the Magpie, with 101.68 average. That is pretty much the best we've seen from Willie O'Connor on the European Tour. We have seen him put in big performances before, but after what's gone on prior in 2018, a huge relief for the Magpie. We'll grab a quick couple of words with him. That is a relieved Irishman.
That was brilliant from the beginning on.
Yeah, it was solid. It was solid. It was nothing special, but I'm happy to get the win.
Yeah, I mean, after 3-4 legs, the average was around 107. That was quite good.
Anybody who's in this tournament can average that in 3 or 4 legs. You need to keep it going. I didn't keep it going, you know. So.
You're from Limerick in Ireland. Is there actually a Limerick I should know?
Absolutely. I mean, all you have to do is look up Gavin Cash and Moy Ross.
We all didn't get it. It's too difficult.
It's an inside joke.
Okay. I'm sure all these guys watching from England or Ireland will understand that, yeah. So what's the plan for this weekend?
Win 1 more game, see how we go.
Just 1 more?
Win 1 more, then win 1 more, then win 1 more.
Okay, step by step. That's a good plan. Thank you very much, Willie. Willie O'Connor. Der stand vor ein paar Jahren in München mal im Viertelfinale. Also der weiß schon, wie das funktioniert auf der European Tour. Das war also die 4. Partie, Halbzeit. Die Technik-Crew wird einmal durchatmen.